So, welcome to my first reading vlog. I'm going to be reading The Forgotten Girls by Owen Laukkanen, or Laukkanen? I said that 3 times. However, I'm going to keep this short and sweet and just continue watching if you want to watch my live reactions. And at the end, I will be having like a short, what I liked, what I didn't like. So, thanks for watching. So I'm about, I think I want to say like a quarter away around the book, through the book. And I like it so far. It's definitely a page turner, especially the way that the chapters are shorter, and they end in kind of like a lot of cliffhangers, even though the cliffhanger is right in the next chapter, kind of. What threw me for a loop was that there's like 4 different POVs. There's like a quick in the prologue of the character that was murdered, and then there's like the FBI, one character that has to do with the person that died, and then the murderer. And I'm slightly confused at all of this, but it all makes sense because something happens once in the chapter before, the next chapter like brings it into the next POV, so it's a little confusing to explain, but I do enjoy it so far. It does have some problematic, I don't know if it's problematic. I guess someone would have to decide that for themselves, but the murderer is definitely problematic for more than just the fact that he's committing crimes. But I guess, I don't know, like, I'm leaning towards it being good, but we'll find out and see eventually, I guess. But I'll check in around when I'm about halfway through the book and we'll go from there. So I'm just over halfway through the book, and we've added a 4th point of view. And at this point, now that they've all come together, and one of the characters, Mila, has finally got what she was doing, and now they're about ready to they're figuring out who the killer is, and it's getting crazy. Like, we're over here, like, there was a survivor, that was one of the POVs, and now that we kind of got through like that, really hard investigating stuff, now it's really down into the nitty gritty of it all, and I'm excited. I don't know, like, now this is making a little more sense. We haven't heard from the killer's point of view yet. Lily, I do not know, but now this is like, now they're about halfway through, but like, there's still so much left in the book. Like, what is gonna happen? They're about ready to find, they're getting close. They're not finding him, but they're close. But like, there's still so much left in the book. Like, what? This doesn't make any sense. Like, what am I supposed to do? What is gonna happen? Alright, y'all. I am about a quarter of the way through this book, and I have screamed, "Oh my god, you son of a gun," so many times. I am about ready to lose it, because every time they get closer, they slips out of their fingers, and it's getting to the point where I'm getting frustrated, and like, my heart's beating. There's a lot of like going on right now. I'm sure maybe if you read something like that, you'd understand, but I am just over it at this point, but I still have a quarter of the way to go. They're doing this like manhunt for this guy, but there's still 100 pages left of the book. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna find him? Is this gonna like end in a place where I'm not ready to like, is this author, is Owen gonna like throw me for another loop? Because I'm not ready for that one. But anyway, I'm getting a little, like, I'm on Discord with my friends, and I'm reading, and while they play some games, and oh my god, they just hear me screaming, oh my god! At this point, I don't know if I want to continue, because I'm just so frustrated, because I want them to find the guy so bad. So bad. But I can't know if I don't read. And I have to know. Like I said earlier, if you work at the Pentagon, let a girl know. Just saying. Just saying. But I'm trying to finish The Forgotten Girls tonight. And I'm in a chapter where the antagonist is, we're in his point of view, and he's one sicko. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, what he's doing isn't graphic, but the reason why he's doing these things, just, I'm flabbergasted. I'm trying to read this, and I have like almost secondhand embarrassment from all of this. I don't even know if it's secondhand embarrassment. Or maybe it's just, you know, the anxiety, the adrenaline of like going through this story. I have no idea. But I'm afraid to continue reading because I don't know what's gonna happen. And this is why I reread books, because I don't have those questions. I know what's gonna happen. But now I'm reading this, and I don't even know what I want to finish it, but I am struggling because I am afraid what is going to happen, what kind of cliffhanger there's going to be at the end of this chapter. I have no idea. And I wish I could like film like my face as I read this, because I'm sure it is quality content. But I'm almost done. We're getting there. But I don't even want to know what's gonna happen. We'll find out, I guess. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe you'll never see this video ever, and if you do, well, that means I finished the book. So, hi, it's me again. I was correct in my last assumption that I was just talking about. It got worse. I am so appalled, but I think why I'm so appalled is because this happens. This is a thing that happens, like, all the time. This is not, like, some made-up crazy scheme. Like, what this guy is doing, what this guy is saying is so real. And I am absolutely, like, thrown. If you've read this book, I'm sure you know at least what part, or relatively what part I'm at. Like the Canadian wilderness. And I'm just, holy shit. I don't know what else to say. I honestly do not know what else to say. Besides the fact that I'm just, this is my worst fear, in all honesty. Like this is something that I thought was gonna happen to me in my life, and I'm terrified that it will, and it's right here in this book, and it's just, I'm having a really hard time reading it at this point, but I'll get through it. You know, I gotta do it for the vine, you know? So, you watched me react to this book. Glad you did. Welcome. You've made it to the end. Now I get to talk about how I felt about the book. Overall, I really did like it. I thought it really kept me going. It's kind of like, it reminded me watching CSI Miami as a kid. You know, you're constantly like, you're like, oh, it's gonna happen here. No, it's gonna happen here. Oh, they got something here. They're gonna do this here. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoop, never mind. You're not gonna get it. Which makes sense. That's just how, I guess that's how things like that work. I'm not entirely sure. But if you don't know, this book is about two FBI agents from Minnesota that are called to a violent crime case. Oh my god, say that 10 times fast. A violent crime case. And they are sent in the very northwest of the United States, between like Montana, Idaho, Washington. And they are being called because there was a teen who was murdered, and they're trying to figure out who it is, because someone's phone, like there was a picture of the crime on someone's phone, and the reason, like, that's what spurred the investigation. And it just takes them on a journey in the Northwest, in the middle of winter. Oh, that's already off the bat, like, that's tough enough to investigate. And it turns out they find out there's something much more sinister going on, because there's a boogeyman of the High Line, which is a term for the railroad that a lot of people use in the North. But there's another character, Mila. She's trying to help investigate because the person who died was one of her best friend, was like her best friend, for all intents and purposes. And it pretty much goes from there. The FBI is trying to track down this girl who's trying to track down the killer. It's a whole mess of the webs. It was definitely a different kind of investigation novel I've read. Turns out this is actually number 6 in a series. I did not know that, because there's nothing on this book that will tell you that it is number 6 of a series. Apparently the FBI agents Kirk Stevens and Carla Windmere are this isn't the first time you meet them. I was kind of shook. I didn't know that. It would explain why I was having a little bit of trouble, like, getting into the FBI. I mean, I was into them, but I was definitely more into them than, like, other people were probably. But it was still, like, a really good novel just on its own. I will admit, the only reason I picked it up was because of the cover. I just thought it was really interesting, the way that it looked and how it kind of encapsulated the winter theme of the entire novel. For someone who grew up in kind of like in a winter landscape, not as harsh as if I was in like the Rocky Mountains, but enough to where I hate winter, I kind of get like the frustration of them trying to like find it, and how easy it was for the killer to get away with it, because no one wants to mess around and look for people who've gone missing in the middle of winter. But that does actually lend into the theme of the novel. Not theme, but definitely like a big point in it, that a lot of people forget about people. Like the police and the FBI forget about people just because they're a certain part of society and it's the middle of winter and no one wants to look for them, because like that would be the point. That would be pointless. For these police that are in this kind of environment, which they talk a lot about, which I appreciate. Take a shot every time I say "which," by the way. I did like that. I did like the theme and the constant of when Mila was finally, met face to face. She was like, they aren't gonna help me. They haven't helped Ashley. The concept of they're not gonna help me because I am this part of society, which is a big, like I said, is a big theme in this novel. Some things that I really liked about this novel were the short chapters, and I say that because sometimes if a chapter is dragged along, I kind of lose interest and I don't want to finish it. That's on me. That's not on any writers. That's just my brain and how I like process information. I appreciate the quickness of the chapters. It really kept me going. So I am so glad that happened, because I was able to finish it. I can finish like books with longer chapters, but just sometimes they drag on a little more and I don't want to finish it, or I just completely skip the chapter. Not gonna lie. Number 2, the thing that I liked was that the stories blended together. There are about 5 different point of views within this novel, and I was a little confused here and there, not gonna lie, but they worked together honestly. They definitely, like, if something happened with the FBI agents, that in that chapter, it would in turn affect the next chapter with the next POV, which I've never read something like that before, and I thought it was like really interesting. It felt like it was written as like a TV show almost, because when you're watching a TV show, you can get multiple different perspectives of the story at the same time, and that's the kind of feeling I was getting with this book. I really liked it though. It was definitely an interesting choice, and I'm here for it in all honesty. I definitely enjoyed it. And then the third thing I liked was that the point of views of the killers and his response to the FBI agents, or just the other characters in general, watching him, oh my god, reading his thoughts and why he was acting the way that he was to the FBI's uh, like crime solving, I guess. In how he responded and thought about the things that were happening to him. I don't agree with the killer, I'm just saying that right now. And it was hard for me to read a lot of his. I think that's actually one of the things I didn't like about the book. I guess not. Okay. I guess I didn't hate. I did the book because of this. It definitely made me uncomfortable, just because he was talking about the way he hates women, and it just kind of hit too close to home, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm gonna, like, by the end of the book, I'm glad they got rid of him. Really am. Because I mean, is that a spoiler? Because usually these novels kind of end in that way anyway. Whatever, I'll put a spoiler. um I I'm glad that they got him, but it still kind of just put me in, like, in this weird headspace almost, because there is one part of the novel where it becomes, he's talking more about the reasons and why he's doing the things that he's doing, and that's kind of where I started going, oh, a little too close to home. I mean, he was already kind of a little too close to home before, but then when he started explaining more about his hatred for women, it just kind of like, oh, okay. But you know, you can get through it, even though it just kind of like hits that one like note, and you're just like, okay. Really, the only thing that I had to say that wasn't really good about, or not good about the book, but the thing that just didn't, like, about for me, was trying to get into the novel, which is really funny because as I was reading more reviews after I finished the book, a lot of people were saying that they couldn't finish the book because it was losing interest, but I couldn't. It was hard for me to get into the first couple of chapters of the novel. There was just something about it. It felt, not slow moving, but it was just hard for me. I'm Once you get into it, they start putting the pieces together. It gets a little more involved, I suppose. But other than that, it was an okay read. Like, would I read it again? Probably not. I would give it like a 3.5 out of 5. Just because, I guess that's a little too low. Okay, maybe we can give it like a 4 out of 5. I didn't really think about the ranking and like what I would rate it. I guess I really don't have an opinion, like, if on that kind of thing. I did like it. There were some things that I wish I could have not, that weren't there, but I still enjoyed the read anyway because it was thrilling, and it did eventually grip me throughout the middle towards the end, and I was flipping through the pages. So I think that's where like the redemption arc for me is. But I don't know, like, I liked it, but I probably wouldn't read it again, but I would still recommend for someone to read it because it still was it was good the way that it was written. Am I gonna read the other like 5 books ahead of this one? Maybe. We'll see. I still got a whole stack behind me to go through, but we'll see. So thank you everyone if you're watching. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. I'm still trying to get used to this whole talking to a camera kind of thing and trying to round up my thoughts about novels because I don't usually think about that kind of thing as I'm reading them. So maybe this will help me concentrate in a way. But thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.